Joining me and all of us right now is John Hofmeister. He's the former Shell Oil president. John, right off the bat, what happens to the price of oil if America leaves this deal?
I don't think we'll see too much of a shock, Charles, not in the short term. I think the real problem with pulling out of the Iran deal is that I suspect that sanctions would be reimposed, which then puts Iran back in the isolation chamber that they were previously in, which will, I think, cause them to play more havoc within the region. And it is the upset and the distress across the region that I think would have more impact on the geopolitical price that we would have to pay for oil. No telling what Iran might do, but if Western oil companies are prohibited from operating in Iran, which was the case before, and there were some trying to get back into Iran, then Iran is left with Chinese and Russian support, and that's it. So that gives them more hegemony in the region where they can, as we know, become a real troublemaker. And Lord knows what that will do to the geopolitical issues.
Well, but John, our European allies, they seem to have balked at this whole thing. Is it possible that they will remain buyers of Iranian oil even if we pull out?
It depends on, I think whatever influence the United States would have. I think Iranian oil is more likely to go east than west, which means more to China and to Asian countries, which is easier for them, actually. And I've often been involved in a discussion of molecules going east, molecules going west. Ultimately, it all goes into the global trading market. And so once things settle down a little bit, whether it's going east or west doesn't really matter because other oil will go to fill whatever the need is, let's say, in Europe.
Right. Now, speaking of settling down, what probably won't settle down is internal turmoil within Iran. We saw a major move there, probably the most upheaval we've seen within Iran in a long time. It was sort of snuffed out, but we see there's a lot of tensions, a lot of visible pushback against the regime there. Without this sort of steady cash flow, isn't that going to get a lot worse?
It certainly could. The Iranian people have been the victim of this, anachronistic dictatorship, and I think many of them are just plain tired of it. But ever since the Arab Spring and the crackdown at the beginning of the Arab Spring and the murdering of their own citizens, there's been resentment building over time. And who knows where that will ultimately shake out. But the money, the cash that came to Iran as a result of the nuclear agreement has not really been spent on the population. It's been spent on, helping Hamas and other, kind of troublesome issues, right, whether it's the war in Yemen or whatever. And so the people have really been second or third rate in terms of priority, and eventually people get tired of it.
Oh, no, there's absolutely no doubt that they're tired of it. They're becoming emboldened, and I think this could be maybe the spark or beginning of something. You mentioned the Arab Spring. Maybe this could be an Iranian Spring. Real quick, I do have to ask you, couple this with Venezuela, their inability to pump out oil anymore. They've kicked out all the Western technology. Their apparatus is broken completely down. We see oil, ironically, pulling back on the eve of this news. Maybe it's selling the news. I'm not sure. But could we go well above $70 on West Texas Intermediate?
I think we will see over the summer months a continued slow rise in the oil price, mainly because global demand is strong and countries like Venezuela can't keep up their production. They're down to 1.1 million barrels a day, down from 1.5 last year. Of course, they're down from 3.5 million a couple of years ago. And so this continued degradation of PDVSA, the Venezuelan oil company, is just it's like a disease, and they can't cure it.
Right.
I mean, my goodness, you've got a National Guard Major General running PDVSA who knows nothing about the oil business. You got ConocoPhillips just won a $2 billion award from an international court of arbitration, and they're capturing some of the assets of PDVSA in the Caribbean as part of their...
It's just a mess. I want to say thanks. It's just an overall mess, but we always appreciate your expertise when you come on. Thank you very much.
You bet, Charles.